Hey, everybody. It's Allie. And welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 9th, 2021. I love a good storm. Tornadoes are the best, aren't they? They're just so much fun. Just kidding. I'm in Tornado Alley, so I know they're not fun in reality, but they're so fun on TV. And I have been asking for a tornado for a couple of years now. I remember chatting about it a couple years ago, saying, gosh, this show just needs a good tornado. There's so much drama with that, and I just loved everything about it. I loved the sound effects around it, the wind and the rain. It was just howling, and the lightning flashing and the tree branches hitting the window. It all felt very scary, and it felt very even just claustrophobic down in that old Montalvo basement. Yeah, that set was on point. I was very happy with it. It looked exactly like a crummy old unfinished basement that everyone's been in 100 times. It was just crammed with all of the house's leftovers, old paint, an old vacuum, canned goods, lawn chairs, a picnic basket with wine in it. Good thing wine only gets better with age, right? That set was great. There was a lot to look at until it collapsed. Oh. All of this really also reminded me that Adam is a farm boy, and I like that element of his character. I loved the fact that Adam had this attitude about the futility of fighting to escape during the storm. That is a very Midwestern attitude, because there is absolutely nothing that you can do to fight Mother Nature. So you might as well crack a bottle of wine and get drunk. Oh, Adam was totally in his element there, and he even said, he made a joke about it, like, I think I heard a cow fly by, so we're not going anywhere, Nick. It was very Wizard of Oz. I don't know, maybe a witch in a broomstick could have flown by that window, too. Yeah, I think a lot of different people could have gone to Kansas to track Adam down and bring him home, but I thought that the tornado was a really great background to highlight the stormy relationship between the two brothers. It wasn't even all just kidney talk. These two guys do have a lot in common, and it's the love of their children that ultimately busted down the door, literally, to them talking about the relationship that they have with one another. Adam told Nick how much he really longs for a new beginning, and he really wants Nick to give him that chance. Now, even though there were a lot of points in that conversation where I was thinking, ugh, Adam, you don't have to grovel to Nick. You don't need Nick's approval. You don't need Nick to like you. And I was thinking, Nick, like, Adam doesn't owe you anything. But at the same time, I also started to get the realization from that conversation that maybe a lot of what Adam has done since coming to Genoa City, since the very beginning of coming to Genoa City, maybe a lot of what he's done has been to get the attention of Victor and his family, even when it's been negative attention. Maybe Adam very much wanted to be accepted by the Newman family, and he, did some things that got him some negative attention, and at the end of the day, the Newmans weren't accepting of him from the very beginning. So there's a lot there, and it really took me back to the beginnings of Adam coming to Genoa City, and it showed me where Adam came from and what he has faced since moving to Genoa City. I just got the feeling from those cellar scenes that I was back in the 90s, and I mean up to and including the fact that it had all of the drama of the classic soap opera stuff that made me start watching the show and keep watching the show, including that slow-mo cliffhanger from, I think it was Wednesday's show, where after Adam and Nick had finally busted the cellar door down, the whole rest of the house collapsed on them. Nick wakes up in the dust, searching for Adam, who is pinned on the opposite side of the house beams, but he's closer to the cellar door. Adam's closer to the exit, so Nick starts scratching and clawing to tear down the drywall, but he's trapped, and he's just shouting at Adam, who's passed out, "You can't die now! Not when I need something from you," right? Adam wakes up, but Nick is still pinned, and he's bleeding from this huge, gross gash on his leg that made me wince. I actually, closed my eyes and turned away from that. It was really bloody and gory, and you guys know I don't like that. But Nick was badly injured, yet he tells Adam to just forget about him. Go get back on the jet, go to Genoa City without him, leave him behind. Nick didn't even mention the gash on his leg, but Adam saw that he was losing blood, so he agreed to go, and the audience is thinking that Adam is just gone, maybe to help Faith, maybe not, and Nick is trapped, and we were just left with this great lingering question of, okay, Adam has agreed to go, but where will he go? And will he ever come back? Adam had an opportunity to run away and leave his brother/enemy to die there, or at the very least to, just call for help, fine, but disappear into the Kansas rubble and not get on the jet to go help Faith. And it was a really interesting scene, too, to see Nick alone after Adam left, just trapped and helpless, and Nick was starting to hallucinate that Faith was right there with him, telling him not to trust Adam. But Nick was saying to her, I trust Adam, I do. This time I actually do trust him. And just then Adam shows up with the firefighters, who totally stood back. Let Adam go into the collapsed building first. Because he had to have his heroic brotherly love moment with Nick. I'm not even kidding you, chatters. When I saw Adam's face peeking through those beams with Nick's flashlight shining upon it, and Adam held out his hand to shake Nick's hand, I cried. cried. I sat in front of my screen and I cried. He came back. Oh, and that bro shake. That bro shake that they did, it melted my heart. That bro shake felt like the beginning and an end all rolled into one. I was all emotion that day. The bro shake, that was the bro shake heard round the world for me, and hopefully some of you guys too. I was such a sap that day. And then when Adam quipped to Nick that he knew that he couldn't go to the cops because he's wanted. So he goes to the firefighters because they don't ask too many questions. And when they did ask Adam what his name was, he gave him a fake name, the name Billy Abbott. And then there was that great moment where Nick and Adam just both laughed at Billy's expense. I mean, my face was lit up like a kid at Christmas with tears streaming down. It was so cute and so funny. I really, really want this to be a new beginning for Nick and Adam. They work so much better as friends than as enemies. First of all, Adam needs a friend, a male friend. He needs a friend, he needs someone to support him who's not also interested in him for sexy time and love interest. He needs a buddy, he needs a friend, and why couldn't that be Nick? I mean, I think that Adam and Nick as rivals never has worked for me. It's just, I'm sorry, Nick does not have the chops to go up against Adam. I think he would make a much better counterbalance to Adam. Nick is good at comedy. He's a light guy. Adam is a dramatic character. He's always very serious. So I think that they would have a really good bro bond and a really good relationship moving forward that would be balanced. Like, Nick just doesn't have the smarts or the intensity to go toe-to-toe against Adam. Now, Nick and Adam joining forces against Billy or against Victoria. Now, there is a story I would want to watch. The interesting part of the story that will come next is, okay, Adam has kept his word to Nick. Will Nick keep his word to Adam? Adam's home. Dr. Nate is prepping for the surgery that he won't be able to do as we speak. And Dr. Nate agrees to not help or hurt Adam's legal situation either way. Nate won't turn him in, but I'm sure he's not going to cover for him either. So Nick is in a position where we're left wondering, will he keep the promises that he made to Adam in the rubble? Or will Nick turn his back on Adam as soon as the surgery is over and he gets what he wants? I think Nick's intention is left a little unclear. It's left a little bit on a cliffhanger, but Ray's intention is not unclear. Like Nate, Ray agrees to not arrest Adam before the surgery can take place, but the moment that kidney is cut out of Adam, Ray is still willing to pursue his investigation. Sharon had to break the news to Ray that Adam is the sole owner of Faith's new much-needed kidney. And I do think, to Ray's credit, he was very understanding. Ray was instantly able to set Adam and his problems with Adam aside to focus on the thing that matters most, which is saving Faith's life. And Ray loves Sharon, and he wants to make sure that he's not going to do anything that would cause her pain. So Ray really took a step back from his investigator role to let Sharon even just talk through what has been happening and just give him the update, the no holds barred update, because that also included the fact that she covered up another phone call that she had received from Adam, and that she was able to provide the information that led Nick to find Adam, even though Ray for weeks now has not been able to find Adam, and Sharon wasn't giving him any hints on where and how to find Adam. So there was this really great bonding moment between Sharon and Ray, which allowed Ray to feel comfortable enough to open up to Sharon to admit that he's starting to have doubts about Adam's guilt. Ray had said to her, you know what, I'm taking a step back on this investigation. I think Ray is looking at his own motivations here now too, because suddenly he has a new view of the situation, and I think that Ray even might feel a little bit guilty for not trusting his wife's instincts. He didn't listen to Sharon's pleas and arguments about Adam. I mean, he did listen, because he did follow up on Chelsea, and he started to let that pique his interest, but he did shut her argument out more in pursuit of his own idea of where the case would lead. But now suddenly he is bringing her soup, he is tucking her into bed, he is seeming that he might be open to another round of talks about their relationship, which I'm honestly not even looking forward to, because Adam's guilt or innocence in this case is really not the problem in Ray and Sharon's marriage. It's the fact that the first place Adam goes when he gets home is Sharon's house. That's the problem. Adam didn't come home and have some warm reunion at the ranch with Victor. No, Adam comes home and his first stop is to Sharon's house. And he has this tender moment with Sharon at her house alone, telling her, you know, no matter how far I run, you will always be with me. It doesn't matter how far and how fast I run, you will always be with me, which was a beautiful scene, and honestly started to turn me around on the love story of Adam and Sharon, and I started to want it in that moment. But Adam tells Sharon that after the surgery, he will be gone again, and then she will be free of him. And Sharon does not tell Adam that Ray has moved out. So there's just so much going on, and Sharon, I think, doesn't want Adam to leave. I think she knows now that she doesn't want him to leave again. I think she wants to help him, and I think she's going to be more drawn to him than ever after the surgery. He is going to have saved her daughter's life. Adam is going to be surely heralded as a hero after all of this. Right? Right? Genoa City is going to plan a parade this summer to honor him. They're going to sail him down Main Street on a float. Or not. What happens to Adam after the surgery? Well, everything hinges on Chelsea's next move. Right now, Chloe is telling Chelsea to just get out of town. Victor is coming for her, and now he's coming for Connor. Chloe even offered to help get Chelsea out of town. And that seems like a logical exit for Chelsea, given the fact that Melissa Claire Egan is going to be obviously needing a maternity leave. But I suspect that Melissa has a ways to go on her pregnancy. She doesn't seem that far along yet. So I just can't see her leaving town right now. Also, if Chelsea just leaves town right now, it leaves Adam in the lurch. I mean, we really need Chelsea to help clear Adam of these charges. And if Chelsea leaves right now, she can't do that. And it also prevents her from having a smooth transition when she comes back. If she just splits, then she's gone. She looks awful, and I don't know how they would bring her back. Y&R really can only make Chelsea disappear right now if they have no plans to bring her back. And that's why I think that Chelsea's redemption story arc is coming next. Chelsea has to be redeemed. Y&R has to find a way to write her out of the corner that they've put her in. Maybe she sees what Adam has done to save Faith's life. Maybe she feels guilty, confesses to Ray. Maybe she finds someone new to pin it on, like Chloe, or maybe she ends up getting a medical exemption somehow. Maybe at the end of this, Chelsea can blame all of her current behavior on her bad brain and the operation and the aneurysm and all the everythings. But something has to happen to click Chelsea back in to the other pieces of the show and make her a rootable, redeemed character, or otherwise they might as well just get rid of her. Nobody's gonna like her at all. What she's done is awful. Ray has started to put the pressure onto Chelsea and Chloe, taunting them, testing them. Chelsea was out having dinner with Chloe with her glamour cane. She needed to get out of the house because she's going stir crazy after all this time. And Ray walks right up to the dinner table, tells Chelsea that the investigation is now going in a new direction, which both Chelsea and Chloe realize means they are the new direction. It completely unnerved Chloe. But Chelsea wasn't fazed about that at all. She is paying no mind to Ray and his investigation. What did faze Chelsea, though, was when she showed back up at home after dinner later that night, and the Black Knight was sitting in her dining room in the shadows. Yes! OMG! Yes! That was fantastic. That was yet another fantastic Victor Newman moment in a series of fantastic Victor Newman moments lately. He's just creeping around in the dark in her apartment. I mean, Victor could have turned on the light, but he said, no, I'm going to leave it off for dramatic effect. I like that. Oh. It actually kind of reminded me of a scene that we saw in the classics where Victor did a dramatic, slow spin around in his office chair to reveal to Jack Abbott that he was alive after having been presumed dead all summer. Jack had taken over Newman Enterprises, and Victor was just in Kansas with Hope all summer drinking lemonade, and then he comes back to town to reveal himself as alive in a slow spin chair turnaround moment that just dropped jaws forever. It just reminded me of that. Like, Victor likes to have a dramatic reveal. Oh my gosh, Y&R has gotten so good lately. Well, for me, anyway. I mean, everybody knows. Kansas is my sweet spot, so I'm right in my sweet spot right here, right now. Anyway, Chelsea flips on the light, sees Victor sitting there, tries not to freak out, but, I mean, she is starting to become paranoid already. A few hours prior to Victor doing his dramatic reveal, she opened up the penthouse door and thought she saw Adam. But it wasn't Adam, but that was a great sign of Chelsea's growing paranoia that she's going to get caught. It was Chloe, of course. Chloe had come crawling back to Chelsea for what reason, I don't know. But Now, with Victor's arrival, Chelsea has a real reason to be paranoid. Victor threatens that if she doesn't go to the police and confess her crime of setting up Adam, then Victor will file for custody and take Connor away from her. Which sounds absurd, but this is Genoa City, and he's Victor Newman, so anything's possible. Nikki always seems shocked by how far her husband is willing to go to get what he wants. But I also think that Nikki does a better job of rolling with the punches these days. She seems to expect the unexpected when it comes to her relationship with Victor. And while Nick and Adam were doing the bro handshake in the rubble, Nikki was at Sharon's house giving her the support. Can you imagine how much it took for Nikki to admit, after all of these years, that she would actually prefer to have Sharon as Nick's mate over Phyllis? My jaw really dropped at that. What? I think that moment was almost as big as the bro shake. Oh. Nikki told Sharon that she really admired how Sharon handled her cancer, and I thought, oh yeah, I almost forgot Sharon had that cancer that came and went. But it was a bonding moment for Sharon and Nikki. I mean, Sharon has had a few challenges these last couple years. She's fighting for her life. Then she was fighting for her marriage, and now she's fighting for her daughter's life. Sharon was in the position of telling Faith how serious her condition actually is, and also telling Faith that creepy Uncle Adam may be the only one who can give her the kidney, which Faith is now having a hard time accepting that, not only does she need this operation, but Adam's her only hope of getting it, and she does need to get it. Faith is in and out of consciousness. She is looking very pale and very sleepy. The actress is doing a great job because she really looks out of it. I mean, the most alive she looked all week was when Moses showed up and snowed her into thinking that she was going to teach him how to play chess. So cute. That is so cute. And I really like to imagine that little Moses was taking chess lessons like from old guys in Central Park, like playing for money with older guys in Central Park. I mean, this kid's no joke. He's got guts if he's willing to just walk up and try to get chess lessons from guys in Central Park who are playing for money. I love that idea. Just that him as a young man doing that. Yeah, he's got guts and he's got heart. I like this Moses. He's been researching Faith's condition, showing a lot of concern, and he's sitting there by her bedside trying to keep her company, even though her condition was worsening. It's a very dark time for Faith, but I like that Moses is this bright shining light at the end of the tunnel for her. Since Adam is going to become Genoa City's new darling, having a fresh new relationship with Victor and now Nick, I think that Victoria is going to become the new villain of the Newman family. I can see it. She's concerned about Faith, of course, but from a distance. And yeah, she wants Adam to fork over the kidney, but she is certainly not going to be patting him on the back for doing it. She's not going to the parade this summer. I don't foresee any tornado bonding in the forecast for Victoria and Adam anytime soon. At best, I think Victoria is going to have to learn to tolerate working side by side with Adam once Victor forces them to share the office. That's going to be good. And Nick's going to be in the middle. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, so probably because of Lily's influence, Billy was able to pull himself back on following a lead that Nick had flown off on the Newman private jet, probably looking to find Adam. And then Billy overheard Victoria and Nikki talking about why they were searching for Adam, that it was for Faith and the kidney. So Billy pulled himself back on the urge to follow the story, and he sat down with Victoria privately, and he told her that he was not going to pursue it. He already hurt Faith once by publishing that Making of a Monster story. That's totally what made Faith become the target of the bullies in the first place. So now Billy is certainly not going to block her kidney donor too. But at the same time, Billy also made a special point to stop and tell Ray that after the surgery is successful, all bets are off. Yeah, Lily totally overheard that conversation between Billy and Victoria. Lily totally saw Victoria wiping the tears out of her eyes at weeping at Billy's kind gesture of support for her and her family during this time of crisis. And so Lily put on another sparkly dinner dress to dazzle Billy and his mind, to get his mind off of his ex-wife. I don't know how much longer Lily can keep doing this. That seems to be the pattern. She sees Billy and Victoria together bonding a little bit, then she tries to throw together a special sexy time dinner session and love and pumps up the love. And don't get me wrong, I loved the Billy and Lily and the Friday filler. Did you see that filter that was on the whole scene? Just everything looked pink and soft and glowing like a flashback. At a moment I was like, gosh, is this a flashback? It seems kind of soft and diffused. I really wish that filter would follow me around on a daily basis. That would be nice. But and I love Billy and Lily. I think they have fantastic chemistry, but I'm starting to think that Lily is starting to get a little paranoid about Billy and Victoria, and I don't really know how much of it is paranoia and how much of it is warranted. And so I thought that I would toss out to you guys as a poll question for this week: do you think that Billy is still in love with Victoria? YRChat.com is where you can weigh in on that, because I just think that on the surface, Billy seems so totally committed to Lily. On Friday, he was asking her to move in together, which I think is wonderful. I was very grateful for the idea. They've been living side by side in the hotel for a while now, and I like the idea of them actually getting a place. I wonder if we will see it, or if it will actually even happen, if they will actually even move in together. Is Victoria always going to have a piece of Billy's heart that prevents him from moving forward, and Lily will just have to learn to either live with it or leave him? Devon gives Jack an update on the Abbott Winters Foundation. I think it's really nice that Y&R took a moment to remind us of that and to tell us that Devon is still working in Neil's memory, and he's creating a jazz label called Winter's Mood. Ooh, I think that's a great name. I always thought that Winters was a really cool last name to have. Literally, I guess it's a cool last name. But I think that Winter's Mood is a really clever twist there, Devon. Good job. Devon also told Victor that he was going to be having an event. He was sort of saying to Victor that there was going to be an event, and I thought, ooh, is there any chance we're going to have a gala? I think that Neil would totally approve of that. And we haven't had the cast in one big room for a long while now because of the COVID filming. And little by little, we're really getting back to the intimacy that we used to have. And I think maybe doing a big launch of the Winter's Mood Jazz label, like a party, would be a really great opportunity to also see everybody dressed up and in the same room together. That would be wonderful. Who will Nate be bringing as his date, is my question. Could it be me? You guys, we've got to find something to do with Nate. He was a total pushover with the Newmans. That scene at the ranch, while I appreciated it because there needed to be some kind of acknowledgement that Nate helped the Newmans in the past and got burned, almost lost his medical license. Even though, all right, that scene needed to happen, it also felt very ceremonious, very whatever, very we're phoning it in. And there was a total missed opportunity to dig into the true pain of Nate's life, which is the loss of his dream career. He's not able to perform that surgery on his patient. He's not able to have the ultimate follow through. I mean, with the career that he wanted to have. I kind of want to see Nate at least harbor some resentment toward Devon about that. Devon cost him something that is so important to him, far above and beyond who he's dating. But I guess at least it is good that Nate did admit to Devon this week that he's jealous of Devon and Amanda's relationship. Somehow, Devon was able to sleep with Amanda and come out. Sorry, he was able to sleep with Elena while he was with Amanda and come out on top of Amanda. How does that happen? I mean, Devon and Elena had their affair. Devon ended up with no repercussions for it, and yet it totally destroyed Nate's relationship with Elena. So Nate has all of these reasons to feel resentful toward Devon, and whether he's right or wrong too, I think pursuing some resentment between them would be a really good storyline to follow. I mean, we had that moment between them where you could really tell there was still a rub there, and while I want them ultimately to be friends, I think Nate has some valid reasons to feel resentful toward Devon, and I think that could give us some good play. And if not that, then we need to give him a new love. If Nate feels like the damage that happened to him and Elena's relationship is beyond repair, all right, that's legit, but we gotta find someone who he can share a life with. And I'm sorry, Lola is not an option. She is as good as gone. So I don't know. Maybe Amani will bump into Nate and the sparks can fly between them. Or Victoria? I don't know. Victoria's the only single gal in town that I can even think of right now. And she's already dated all the people. I love how much screen time Michael Baldwin has been getting. Next to Victor Newman, Michael Baldwin is my favorite character on the show. There's the Victor Newman category, and then there's everyone else, and at the top of the everyone else category is Michael. He's not a favorite, but Paul's not my favorite, but every time I see Michael, I feel somehow bad that Paul's not getting brought back. I guess because they're the two legal presences on the show that should be on the show, the chief of police and the district attorney, and we're getting a lot of the district attorney and none of the chief of police. So every time I feel good about seeing Michael, I feel bad that Paul is forever gone. But I don't know, I guess I cannot complain because Y&R also found a really good way to tie in Michael this week. Can you even believe that Michael has been in the exact same situation as Adam? I never would have remembered that at all. But I looked it up, and in the late 90s and early 2000s, Danny was attacked by a mugger. He needed a kidney to survive, and Michael stepped up to donate his to save Danny's life and to prove to Christine that he was a changed man. Wow, there has got to be somewhere on a shelf a soap opera rule book, and like you flip through it, and deep on page 105 there's a list of ways to redeem a villain character, and having the villain donate an organ to a beloved character has got to be at the top of that list. That's how you do it. That's how you redeem a villain. And it works. I mean, of all the characters who you would have thought could never be redeemed, Michael. I mean, that's a prime example. And Michael is so confident and so secure now. And Christian LeBlanc just has such a way of delivering his lines and adding inflection in the most interesting of places. And he really seemed to enjoy chewing his scenes with Amanda this week. He tried to get Amanda to accept a plea deal for Sutton, but she wasn't budging, and now her bigger problem is Victor. If Amanda intends to shift blame or attention or anything away from Sutton and put it right onto Victor as part of her defense strategy, she's going to have to deal with the bull and the horns. Even Devon was like, whoa, Victor's coming for you. And I chuckled to myself at the way that Victor grilled Devon, trying to get some information from him about Amanda and her case. And Victor said, so, I hear you're dating Amanda Sinclair. And Devon was shocked. He was like, how did you know that? Does Victor know that Devon slept with Elena while he was dating Amanda too? Like, I imagine that Victor knows all of the town's juiciest gossip, and let's be real, he knows it because Nikki is the one telling him. Anything Victor knows is because Nikki has told him. Nikki probably overheard some of the gals at the hospital gossiping about Elena, and then she turned around just as they were ready to slip into bed one night and just like gave that juicy scoop to Victor. Victor probably doesn't even blink an eye. He probably just acts like he doesn't care about Nikki's gossip updates, but then he's secretly all about it, cataloging it all. While I do appreciate the way that Y&R has folded Victor into Amanda's story, because it gives someone else on screen for Amanda to interact with, about it, and on it. But I'm gonna need to see some movement on this story, or some new information, or a twist, or something, sometime soon. The murder mystery part of this story is kinda stale. 30 years old stale. Like a can of kidney beans rotting on a shelf in the basement of the old Montalvo farm. Stale. Let the wedding planning begin. Summer wants a fall wedding. Ooh, maybe some harvest centerpieces. Sounds good to me. Can we go ahead and start filming that in advance of the flu season just to make sure we get it? I just want to make sure we get this wedding. Just film it now, just in case anything gets shut down again. I gotta see it. I want a wedding and I want to see it. And I want to have it and I don't want to miss it. And in the meantime, Jack offered to throw Summer and Kyle an engagement party. Are we going to get like a Neil Winters Mood launch party gala and an engagement party for Kyle and Summer? Ooh, both sound really good. Do you also think that maybe Tessa could write and perform a song for Kyle and Summer's engagement party or wedding? After all, Mariah is going to be Kyle's best person. Surely Tessa can whip up a song for the occasion. Kyle and Mariah, they're back to being besties. Kyle showed Mariah that picture of Harrison that he got last week, and Mariah had pretty much the same look on her face at seeing it that I had on mine. Like, is this gonna be okay for you? This is really nice and really sweet, but are you gonna be okay with this? Because now that you have this picture, are you going to want more? But, I mean, I don't know. Kyle insists that the picture is enough. He is happy with where he is. He is looking forward to where he's going with his life. No, not looking back, just looking forward. But I just don't think that's going to last for long. I think that maybe Tara is lying about Ashlyn's change of heart, and I think that maybe it's possible they're both plotting some revenge on the Abbotts and the Newmans. I don't know. What evidence do I have? None. Just a feeling of foreboding. And you know that karma is a bitch. That line just stood out to me last week. I don't know. Normally I don't, I try to keep my language clean. But for some reason that line just really stuck out to me. It was Sally who said it. She was talking to Tara, warning her that Jack and Kyle are going to turn things back around on these shifty locks. Yeah, a lot of you guys guessed it. It was Heather, Henry, Victoria, Julie, David G, Jamie, Kirsten, good old Marky, TB84, Diane K, and Daisy. You guys get my shout out for the week. Here's a new one. I like this line because it feels like something I would say. I'm excited for your excitement. I feel like I've said something similar. Like, I'm happy for so-and-so's happiness, but, yeah, I'm excited for your excitement. Who do you think said that? There's just so much excitement to be excited about. If you think you know who said it, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess, and if you get it right, I will give you your shout-out during next week's Y&R Chat. Sandra says, all of this talk of Neil has me a bit sappy. I am so appreciating the many mentions of Neil's name and his connection to the rest of the cast. Absolutely, Y&R is doing a very good job of reminding us that Neil still has a presence on the show through his children and through the work that he did in his lifetime. I think we just hit the 2-year anniversary of his passing, and so I do appreciate that Y&R is making that effort to remind us of Neil and make sure he's folded into the show still. And we heard Devon talking with Jack about the Abbott Winters Foundation, and we also had Devon talking with Victor about it. So we've got lots of mentions of Neil, and I appreciate that because I don't want to forget him. Well, Sue W says, I just don't know where this Jack and Sally thing is going, if anywhere. The last few times Jack has seen Sally, I can't figure out if he's perplexed, longing. His expression says, gee, I really want to ignore the red flags and just give it a go. Or, gee, I've lost interest, but you're kind of the only option around these days. Yeah, so you're having a hard time getting a beat on where Jack's head is. And can you believe that we got absolutely no follow-up on that last cliffhanger from last week? I think it was last Thursday. Sally was on the back patio with Jack, again, declaring her love for him, and then nothing. He just went right back to work at Jabot and didn't say a single thing about it. What did he say to her? What was his response? I think a lot of the Jack and Sally story, if we look back on it, has been us left wondering what Jack's position really is with her. It took a long time of them dancing around the topic of, are they even dating? And now back to square one in terms of not really knowing where Jack stands on the issue. Sally's made her her feelings quite clear, but where does Jag stand on the issue? They're leaving that hanging, assuming that they're doing on purpose. Oh, how about this? Ellen says, isn't there someone better for Lily? Billy never grows or matures. He's the same illogical, impulsive, spoiled little boy that he's always been. Bring on someone new for Lily. Oh, and Leslie says, no, I love Lily and Billy. They are both better together. Lily has not always been the best person either. And Victoria says, Billy, why are you stopping to talk to Ray about your obsession? Lily will be cooling down while you go on and on to Ray. That's kind of funny. I was wondering, why is Billy stopping on this cute little treasure hunt to talk to Ray about Adam? Come on, keep moving. The food's getting cold. Daisy says, I don't really understand why Lily is always going out of her way for Billy, especially after she sees him with his ex. But at the same time, I think Lily may be repeating the same pattern with Billy that she did with Kane. She loves him, and she gives him chance after chance, knowing he'll likely disappoint or hurt her again. Lily needs a new love, someone who respects her enough to make her a priority, not his ex. His children, yes, but not the ex. But just abiding by Billy's chats with Victoria, Lily may end up staying with Billy until he's ready to go back to her. Oh, I can't wait to see the poll results for this week. Do you think that Billy is just on a long path back to Victoria? Let's talk about Mariah. Superplex says, Mariah, Abby controls your diet from now on. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. Gary responds, but notice how finally today it was made clear that Abby is perceived by others as a pain in the you-know-what. Nina's eyes moved back and forth as she kept to her sewing, taking in every nuance of Abby's trying to make everything perfect for Mariah, packing her up a sardine sandwich for work. Ew, a sardine sandwich. Maybe that's a little something that Mariah could have for her pregnancy cravings. Yeah, Abby is in mom mode so hard right now. I wonder if Y&R will touch on that for Mother's Day next week. I don't know, because certainly Abby is treating Mariah like the baby. The baby's in Mariah. Mariah's not your baby. I mean, yeah, Abby's sending Mariah off to school with a sack lunch. All the while, Nina is in the background biting her tongue. Yes, Gary, Nina's reaction is what tells the audience, you're not alone. This is the story. You're not imagining it. Abby is going to act like this. She has got nothing going on but this. Wow, Chance sent Abby a candle and some candy this week. I'm touched. Truly touched. Unfortunately for Mariah, Abby's new candle made her want to puke, which isn't far off about how I felt about the whole thing. I'm going to have to just stop going there because I have nothing positive to say about it. Let's move on. Victoria says, Nate, stay in your own lane when it comes to parenting Moses. Devon setting a boundary was needed. Nate, stick to giving the advice on Ask MD and mentor Moses at work. Embrace him as family and leave the parenting to Sophia and Devon. Ellen says, my opinion. First, Devon is a brother, not a parent. Sophia may have consented to having Moses stay with Devon, but that doesn't make him a substitute parent. If Devon weren't so insecure, he would welcome input from Nate, another family member, and mentor to Moses. Devon can't even muster a sincere apology for ruining Nate's surgical career. He is a very flawed and immature in my book. Moses would benefit from Nate's guidance. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting scene because Nate suddenly got sort of, I don't know, possessive. He definitely was inquiring about whether or not Moses was okay staying in the house with Devon and Amanda. I mean, it's almost as if Nate imagines that Devon and Amanda are just flaunting around, like coming down to the refrigerator nude, you know? And poor Moses shouldn't be exposed to such depravity. It is clear that Nate has a more conservative approach to relationships and to life, and Devon is a little more free with himself. Yes, but it creates two personalities that are on the opposite ends of the spectrum, which Moses is sort of stuck in the middle between. I think that Moses is going to present more than one type of challenge for Nate and Devon. That's sort of what he's there for. Yes, Moses is going to have a little romance with Faith, but I think that there is definitely some conflict that's going to come over the raising, I'll put that in quotes, of Moses. Again, neither of them are the parent. Hey, why don't we get Sophia back? That would be kind of cool. Is there any chance that Sophia might come back into the fold now that we have Moses? Ooh. Let's talk about our poll from last week. I asked you guys if you would give Carla Mosley a thumbs up or a thumbs down for her role as Amanda Sinclair. Hey, it was 70-30 in Carla's favor. The majority of voters like Carla in this role, temporarily, of course. Mark says, thumbs way up for this actress. I finally am able to believe this character. Amanda Sinclair presents a strong woman with a life of her own, on her own. In reality, she longs for a family, people to love, and to love her. It's so close she can taste it. This new actress brings it all. I can see it in her face. Michelle Morgan seems more antiseptic. The new actress is the real thing. She emotes. Honestly, I love her. Ooh, so my goodness, Mark likes Carla better than Michelle in the role. Interesting. Heather voted thumbs down. I loved Carla on Bold and Beautiful, but I'm having a hard time thinking of her as Amanda. If Amanda was not Hillary's twin, maybe it would be easier. They even made mention of this again when Jack and Devon were talking. Michelle Morgan is Hillary, and Amanda, to me, in this role should only be played by her. It is hard sometimes, though, to divorce the actor from the famous roles they've played in the past. You see that all over. I mean, a lot of actors end up getting pigeonholed by the roles that have made them famous. And yeah, when I look at Carla in the role of Amanda, I feel very much accepting of it. But at the same time, I do see Maya when I look at her. Marianne V says, I liked Carla Mosley as Amanda. Could it be because I liked her on B&B too? She played a transgender character, which at the time was very brave of her. Today they would try to hire a transgender actress like on General Hospital. But I think she does a good job. Yes, Carla Mosley played a transgender character on The Bold and the Beautiful, which I'm sure, I mean, it would be a tough role. It's like these days the actresses get so much hate comments, even just for changing their hairstyle. So I can really only imagine what Carla saw and heard and took and had to process for taking that role. But certainly she is a very flexible actress. I mean, she seems to have range, and I feel very good about what we're going to be seeing from her for the next month. Keisha said, Carla knew this would be a tough role to fill. I didn't realize until I saw her how much I've missed seeing her beautiful face. I love her smile. I did see a little article where Carla had said, I knew this was going to be a hard role because Michelle Morgan is loved so much they killed her off and brought her back as a twin. I mean, that says a lot about how much Michelle Morgan is liked by the young and the restless. So yes, I'm sure that Carla knew that it wasn't going to be an easy task, but I think she's up to it. Samuel says, I like what this actress brings. She's not Amanda, though. She played bad on Bold and the Beautiful. I'd like to see her play Imani. Oh, there's an idea. Why didn't they cast Carl Moseley as Imani? Maybe it's a budgetary thing or something. But and again, I like Imani, but that's a really good idea. Let's talk about Imani. Gary says, if Imani's family are the cutthroat deplorables that she claims they are, throwing Amanda to the winds after they get what they want, it doesn't really matter because Amanda already has her mother's love, the primary relation. I believe that Imani is claiming that Naya, at her advanced age, is still very much a daddy's girl, and if Sutton tells her to cut Amanda off, she will do so to please her father. Well, who believes this? Nobody. Yeah, it's true. Amanda will have the love and respect of her mother at the end of this, unless something goes wrong and Amanda sabotages Sutton and sends him to prison. Maybe therein will show us Naya's choice. Does she support the father who we know that Naya wants the approval of, or does she see things Amanda's way and choose to develop that relationship more? Tina Cole says, if Imani is working with Amanda's father to set up Sutton, maybe the reason Imani was so put off to finding out about Amanda and the restraining order is because having Amanda out of the picture would make their plan go forward more smoothly. I do like that idea, that Imani is working with Amanda's father, who's still really alive, to set up Sutton. And Imani, that explains Imani's motives for just wanting Amanda out of the way. I think that would be a fun twist. Kamna says, I've been loving the writing, but something from the last couple weeks has bothered me. There were 2 times that Amanda either referred to or introduced Devon to her family, and in both cases she failed to draw the connection that he's Hillary's widowed husband. In both cases, she introduced him as a friend, so there would be no awkwardness, but it just seems like a miss because that's Hillary's family too. Anyone else think so? I hadn't noticed that, Kamna, but it is a good point. She probably did do it to avoid the awkwardness. I think Amanda is playing it very close to the chest when it comes to Naya and Sutton. I think she does very much want their approval, and it probably, in her mind, would not make her look good if it was like, yeah, here's Devon, I'm obviously dating him, and so did my sister. Maybe that's it, but you're right, it's a missed opportunity in terms of the storyline for sure, and for creating that connection and reminding us of Hillary and what her and reminding us that Hillary and Amanda are sisters, and yeah, that Devon was Hillary's family, that he's family, that yeah, she's dating him, but he's also family. I guess, yeah, it probably is because she doesn't want to look bad in their eyes. Oh, Leslie says, I loved Victor asking Devon about dating Amanda, and Devon saying that he wasn't aware Victor had his ear to the ground on that kind of thing. The chuckle Victor gave back was perfect. I can't believe Devon doesn't know that Victor has his ear to the ground about everything, because it can all be used anytime. Victor needs to blackmail, persuade somebody to his will. Knowledge is power. Yes, knowledge is power, and Victor Newman sure does know that. Hey, Jamie says, I'm going to be really bummed if the Dark Knight didn't plant some hidden cameras and mics in the penthouse. It would be absolute gold to see Victor and Michael huddled up watching a live stream of Chelsea and Chloe unknowingly serving themselves up on a silver platter. Yeah, that would be entertaining, but it sure does send Chloe and Chelsea down the toilet if it's something like that. Y&R has to be also working a redemption arc for Chelsea, for both of them, but specifically Chelsea. Yeah, I tell you what, I really want to see is hopefully next week Adam will pop up in the penthouse and surprise Chelsea. I think that little scene where she opened the door and imagined that she saw Adam was our preview. We're building up to that confrontation. Ooh, I cannot wait to see Adam finally confront Chelsea. Yes, I hope it's next week. Ooh, it's gotta be, because there's gotta be at least a little bit of a space before the surgery where Adam's gonna have his chance to confront Chelsea, and oh, I can't wait. Chelsea's a bad girl. Superplex says everything is Connor. Chelsea has not once thought about Bella and Chloe's kid. Her new son's name is Miles. So Chelsea has not once thought about Bella and Miles. She asked Chloe to put her maternity in jeopardy. When it comes to Chelsea's kid, though, hands off. Yeah, Chelsea's all about her son, and she's the mother, but yeah, she's paid very little attention to Chloe and her situation. Chelsea has been very unfeeling toward Chloe. She dragged her into this unknowingly, and you know what? I mean, Chloe trusted her. Chloe trusted the wrong person, but every way you slice it, Chelsea looks bad at the end of this, and Y&R's gonna have to find a way to account for that if they plan on keeping her. Daisy says, there's a chance that Chloe already did go to Paul and confess. And to get no jail time, she agreed to wear a wire so that law enforcement can hear and record what Chelsea did. But I don't think that Chelsea would go to jail. I think that Adam would get her a good lawyer. And with her recent medical history, she can prove that because of the extent of her physical injuries, she had some type of break with reality. So Chelsea might end up in a court-ordered psych hold to be evaluated and treated. How crazy would that be, though, if Chloe set up Chelsea to avoid jail time and, of course, in her mind to help a troubled friend? Maybe that is it, Daisy. Maybe Chelsea will end up going away for some crazy, for whatever, psych treatment, because if she had a break with reality and Y&R goes to the pains of creating a medical explanation, maybe that's how Melissa Claire Egan gets written off the show. But I love your idea that Chloe was wearing a wire in exchange for her own freedom to bust Chelsea. Yeah, that could be a pretty good path away from this. I don't think Y&R is going to give us any Paul anytime soon, though, as far as the confession. Someone did mention Paul this week. Boy, I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Nikki, I think. Someone mentioned Paul, but I don't think we're going to see him again. Yeah, Chloe could wear a wire in exchange for her own freedom and turn over info on Chelsea. Then Chelsea somehow becomes diagnosed with her break from reality, goes off to a mental institution for her maternity leave, and comes back telling everyone how sorry she is and how changed she is. And, maybe she could give a kidney. Maybe someone else needs a kidney. Nick needs a kidney now. And Chelsea gives it to him, and then she's fully redeemed. Chloe could also go straight to Victor. I mean, if Chloe wants to find a way out of this and save herself, she could also go to Victor. Leslie says, Adam's redemption is complete. Yay! I hope it lasts and we never take it as dark as they did again. Of course he won't be perfect, at least I hope not, but I will like it if they have Adam and Nick actually relate as brothers. Yeah, I think the Justin Hartley Adam just seems to be gone, and I think Y&R did take the Adam character back to a Michael Mooney type portrayal, and now I think they are working their way toward his redemption, and I'm also feeling hopeful that Nick and Adam will become bros out of this. I think that Adam needs some support on his side that's not always just a romantic interest. When Y&R got rid of Chance, it definitely upset me as far as the relationship with Abby went, but it also took away the only friend that Adam had, and I think he maybe needs that. Ellen says, Victor let another opportunity pass to correct the record about the medication tampering. Nothing about Billy running Adam down on old Genoa Junction Road. Adam was thinking it was Victor. The tampering was not a murder attempt. Phyllis was helping to bribe the pharmacist who adjusted the dosage. Nope, none of that was mentioned. Just more Adam the psychopath talk. It makes no sense. Victor is in full defense of Adam these days. Why wouldn't he clear this up? I think that the voice in defense of Adam on the show has always been a little weak. I mean, again, we almost have to consider the Justin Hartley Adam as just totally gone, totally separate. It's its own thing. But there really hasn't been a lot of dialogue in defense of Adam. It's anyone who's defending Adam is usually a love interest. I mean, it's usually Sharon, who almost doesn't even seem fully convinced of her own thoughts and feelings about Adam. And then you have Victor, who is usually just saying, he's my son, I love him. I think there is a pretty big hole, a pretty good big gap of anyone who is just sort of neutrally wanting to kind of point that back out, like anything other than the making of the monster storyline, Billy's storyline, the way Billy sees it. There's not a real lot of counterbalance to that, and Adam himself doesn't really take a lot of time to defend himself. He just kind of takes it. But at least he took the time to stop and get his hair cut, right, Ellen? Ellen says, thank goodness Adam stopped off at a trendy hair salon to get that shorter haircut. There is definitely no hair gel in the AJ Montalvo storm shelter. Lots of spiders, though. Is that a real basement somewhere? I had to laugh about that, too, because we were talking last week about, I wonder what Adam's in hiding look is. And apparently it's just a shorter, tighter cut. He said, if I'm not going to be able to use product to work up all this hair into a styled mane, I'm just going to get a shorter cut and just let it be. Yeah, that was funny. I liked it. Astra says, this week has been kind of meh for me. I don't care for the fact that they have put Faith into a dire situation again just to prop Adam up to be redeemed, just to probably backtrack on Adam's redemption in about a year or so. Hasn't Faith been through enough already? Yeah, well, in terms of Adam, it is like, okay, well, they always do kind of redeem him, and it doesn't last very long. That's why I said last week, this is probably going to buy him a month of time, and then we're going to be right back to the same old story about Adam. And in terms of Faith, I think you make a very good point that these writers are definitely using Faith a lot more than in the past. She's definitely right out of the frying pan and into the fire. I thought that she was going to be now getting past the bullying, starting the sweet new romance with Moses, and instead it's just another major crisis right after her last major crisis. Diana says, Nick was extremely unlikable in the scenes with Adam this week during the storm. I found that Nick spoke to Adam like he was a nothing and made it seem like his life is far less worthy than Faith's. Yes, Faith is a young girl who has had a whole life ahead of her, but Adam is family and also deserves some respect. When Nick was talking to Ray after returning to Genoa City, he tells Ray that he doesn't care what happens to Adam after he gives Faith his kidney. How thoughtful, Nick! How can Nick be so callous toward Adam after all that Adam has done and is willing to do for Faith, and after bonding at the farmhouse? Is Nick forgetting that Adam is a father? Why would Nick not care about what happens to Adam? That's heartless. Especially when Nick thinks that Chelsea is a recovering stroke victim who can't look after Connor on his own. I'm not liking Nick's animosity toward Adam at all, and I wish Y&R would let Nick have some compassion and a heart toward Adam. He's bonded with Adam for all of 5 minutes, and now it's back to square one. Not a good look for Nick. I didn't interpret that. I actually interpreted that scene where Nick is sitting down in the living room. Ray comes through the door. Ray doesn't know that Adam is hiding upstairs. Nick tells Ray that, I'm going to get the kidney, and then after that, you can do what you want with Adam. I interpreted that more as Nick trying to say what he thought Ray wanted to hear so as not to alert him that Adam was upstairs. I got the impression that Nick knew Adam was right there and knew Adam was listening and was just paying a little bit of lip service to Ray. I actually think that Nick does intend to go through with his promises and his loyalty to Adam. I don't think we're going to be right back to square one. I really don't. My impression was fully that Nick was just saying what Ray wanted to hear. Sue W. says, even though that's not what he said to Ray, I don't think that Nick is really on board with Ray arresting Adam right after the surgery. I think Nick will honor whatever the Adam escape plan is put into motion. If it actually gets far, Chelsea may be exposed just in time to stop Adam's arrest or escape. I do hope that Chelsea's poisoning plot won't get forgiven, though, due to a brain injury or a tumor, like how JT's abusive behavior was blamed on. Nothing against the actress, but Chelsea's character has run her con game course, ping-ponging between Adam and Nick, and now it's time for her to go. Sorry, Connor, but I hope she goes to jail. Not Chloe, though. One other thought on Nick. It seems very pointed that we were shown Nick grimacing and downing pain pills for his stitches. Will he have the next addiction story? I noticed that too, and I thought, ooh, okay, maybe it was just Y&R reminding us that Nick has an injury and they don't want to just drop it and act like it didn't happen, but you're picking up on something a little extra there, thinking maybe this could be a hint at a future storyline for Nick. I like that. Victoria likes the Nikki and Sharon vibe right now, saying, wouldn't it be nice if Nikki and Sharon blossomed into a friendship similar to Nikki and Mrs. C? What a treat for viewers this would be. I think so too. It's nice to see, like, in the same way that it was nice when Nikki and Victor finally accepted that they're each other's person. It's nice to see when enemies just accept that they're friends. Same sort of happened with Victor and Jack at a point. And it is nice. I like seeing Nikki and Sharon support each other. And I like that you're mentioning Mrs. C. Sandra says, kudos to the Y&R set department for the very realistic basement scene. From the water heater, to the box of old canning jars, the cobwebs, to the makeshift clothesline with the abundance of hangers. It did look real, didn't it? If you've ever been in an old unfinished basement, it just looks exactly like all the crap you just shoved down into the basement. It was very realistic, complete with all those canned goods. Actually, Gary mentioned about that opening shot on Monday of Adam down in the basement, eyeballing the canned goods. I screen capped it because I just couldn't help myself. It was just funny to see Adam looking at these cans and cans of old vegetables. And Gary says, when the writers create a scene like this, Adam eyeing the canned goods, are they writing for realism, figuring that the audience must think, Adam's hungry? Or are they projecting the comic potential in this for certain subversives watching at home? Or is it both? I know, I got comedy out of that scene too. Sometimes it's just that these people are so together, they're so rich, they're so in this fantasy world, and bringing them down to the canned goods level does have a comedic element to it. But also, yeah, I think maybe they were showing this is what Adam's life is now. He is hiding out in a storm shelter in an old basement. This is what he's got, and he's making do. Yeah, no fun, no fun. Henry says, what a coincidence. We actually had tornado warnings today in this part of South Carolina. I was ticked off when our local news interrupted the entire episode of Bold and the Beautiful to report on the bad weather, but not to worry. Paramount Plus uploaded the entire episode hours later, commercial free. It is kind of timely that they did this tornado episode right as tornado season is starting. Henry had a tornado on the day of the tornado. The day of the rubble, and I can't remember if that was Wednesday or Thursday. My tornado, well, I mean, every town has an emergency warning, and the emergency sirens went off on that day, and at a time where they really shouldn't have been going off. We always get a test on the first Tuesday of the month. You hear the sirens. And the tornado siren started going off Tuesday at night while I was watching the show, and I'm like, it's okay. It's the first Tuesday of the month, but it's not time. It's usually right at, I can't think, it's 10 a.m. and it wasn't time for it. So I was really freaked out. I'm watching the rubble and the destruction, and all of a sudden I hear the tornado warning system, and I'm like having to get up with my towel on my head and look around. The sky is bright and sunny. I'm like, this isn't happening, is it? But you just never know. It can be bright and sunny, and a tornado could be headed around the corner. I mean, like, the tornadoes, I'm making some fun with them. They are so much fun on TV, but they are no fun in real life. All right, friends, that's my Y&R chat for the week. What do you have to say? Go to yrchat.com to leave your comments. I can't wait to hear from you, and I hope that all of the moms out there have a really good Mother's Day. I am going to enjoy planting my flowers. I always give a flat of flowers to my mom for Mother's Day, and now I receive a flat of flowers from my daughter for Mother's Day. So I'm very excited to plant all my flowers. It got a little bit cold here, but I'm going to be working on planting next week and getting my gardening going. I think that's a good Mother's Day tradition, and I'm looking forward to seeing it all. And I'll look forward to seeing you all next week. So I hope you come back and see me next week. I love you guys. Bye!